Hey everyone, I'm back. I have this topic I'm going to talk about is it's kind of more about some idol worship. So I'm going to start off with the two verses that I got about sharing this message, the confirmation verses. I got Ezekiel 11:25, and it says, "And I told the exiles everything the Lord had shown me." Am I calling everybody here exiles? Absolutely not. The key words were that I'm telling everything that was shown to me. And so that's what I'm going to do. And like just on the way out here to the car to give the message, I got Luke 4:43, where it says, "But he said, I must proclaim the good news of the kingdom of God to the other towns also, because that is why I was sent." And that's just me, sharing these messages, because if you watch the video I posted right before this, I talked about how I have been running. And so I have like a collection of things that I have not made messages about or talked about. So I'm really playing catch up and trying to just get it together. I'm trying to get it together so I could get these out, because I am just really trying not to be a runner. So I'm going to give the dates that I heard these things. And then I'll go into the scripture that God brought me. So on the 14th of April, I heard the word east. On the 15th of April, I heard the words tarot cards, terebinth tree, spirit tree. And then on the 18th, I saw in my dream the word Isaiah and some numbers. The two numbers that go with this message was 2 and 6, because I saw a cluster of 3 numbers, and when I went to go look up what those were, 2 of them go with this message. The other one goes with another one that I'll do that video after this. And then on last night, I saw an oak tree, my oak trees, because in my front yard I have oak trees, and there were some acorns on the ground, which is not something odd. I have acorns on the ground, but it was very like, our acorns like sink into the grass a little bit, but in the dream it was the one tree, because I actually have 2 oak trees in the front yard, so it was one, and then I want to say a lot of acorns, but it wasn't like a massive amount. It wasn't a pile. You could just see the acorns scattered on top of the grass. And then, oh, by the way, like when I give the dates, and like the first one, when I said on the 14th, I heard the word east, like it's not like I only hear one thing during that night. It's like I hear a whole bunch of stuff, and then I over the next few days, I'm like, okay, wait, this goes together, this goes together. So I really have to sit and wait on the Lord before he shows me, which is fine by me, because I don't want to get it wrong. So I got some of these messages yesterday, but I'm glad I waited to give the message, because I got another verse for it like right before bed. So I also heard in my head like tomorrow. Like I was so like trying to just hurry up and do the message, because I felt really guilty, even though I already asked for forgiveness. But I kept hearing tomorrow, like it's okay, you can wait till tomorrow. So I'm going to say the things again one more time, because I got sidetracked. So on the 14th, I heard east. On the 15th, I heard tarot cards, terebinth tree, spirit tree. On the 18th, I saw Isaiah and the numbers 2 and 3 that go with this message. And on last night, the 19th, or say the 19th? I don't even know what date it is. I heard oak tree, or I saw an oak tree with the acorns on the ground. Then the first verse I got is Exodus 34 verses 13 through 14, and it says, and this is the New International Version, it says, "Break down their altars, smash their sacred stones, and cut down their Asherah poles. Do not worship any other god, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God." And then on in my Living Bible, I got Isaiah chapter 2 verses 3 through 6, and that reads, Come, everyone will say, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the temple of God of Israel. There he will teach us his laws, and we will obey them. For in those days, the world will be ruled from Jerusalem. The Lord will settle international disputes. All the nations will convert their weapons of war into implements of peace. Then at the last, all wars will stop and all military training will end. O Israel, come, let us walk in the light of the Lord and be obedient to his laws. And verse 6 reads, the Lord has rejected you because you welcome foreigners from the east who practice magic and communicate with evil spirits as the Philistines do. Sorry, my car beeped. So right there, it verifies the word east that I heard and talks about people who practice magic and communicate with evil spirits. And so that kind of goes with tarot cards and the spirit tree. I'll get into that more when I'm done with the verses. After that, I got Jeremiah chapter 44, and that is verses 15 through 29. I know it's a lot, but I'm gonna read it. I'm not gonna keep running, guys. Okay, so it says, then all the women present and all the men who knew that their wives had burned incense to idols, it was a great crowd of all the Jews in southern Egypt, answered Jeremiah. We will not listen to your false messages from God. We will do whatever we want. We will burn incense to the Queen of Heaven and sacrifice to her just as much as we like, just as we and our fathers before us and our kings and princes have always done in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For in those days we had plenty to eat and we were well off and happy. But ever since we quit burning incense to the Queen of Heaven and stopped worshiping her, we have been in great trouble and have been destroyed by sword and famine. And the women added, do you suppose that we were worshiping the Queen of Heaven and pouring out our libations to her and making cakes for her with an image on them without our husbands knowing it and helping us? Of course not. Then Jeremiah said to all of them, men and women alike, who had given him that answer, do you think the Lord didn't know that you and your fathers, your kings and princes, and all the people were burning incense to idols in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem? It was because he could no longer bear all the evil things you were doing that he made your land desolate and an incredible ruin, cursed, without an inhabitant, as it is today. The very reason all of these terrible things have befallen you is because you have burned incense and sinned against the Lord and refused to obey him. Then Jeremiah said to them all, including the women, listen to the word of the Lord, all you citizens of Judah who are here in Egypt. The Lord, the God of Israel, says, both you and your wives have said that you will never give up your devotion and sacrifices to the Queen of Heaven, and you have proved it, by your actions. Then go ahead and carry out your promises and vows to her. But listen to the word of the Lord, all you Jews who are living in the land of Egypt. I have sworn by my great name, says the Lord, that it will do you no good to seek my help and blessing anymore, saying, O Lord, our God, help us. For I will watch over you, but not for good. I will see to it that evil befalls you, and you shall become destroyed by war and famine until all of you are dead. Only those who return to Judah, it will be but a tiny remnant, shall escape my wrath, but all who refuse to go back, who insist on living in Egypt, shall find out who tells the truth, I or they. And this is the proof I give you, that all I have threatened will happen to you, and that I will punish you here. And then the last verse I got is Isaiah chapter 6, 8 through 13. And that reads, Sorry for that long pause. I think I skipped one, but I'm going to go to the Isaiah one, or I'm going to go to the one that I think I skipped. Sorry. I just do not want to do this video over again. I got 2 Kings chapter 23 verses 4 through 15. Okay, here's another long one. It says, the king ordered Hilkiah, the high priest, the priest next in rank, and the doorkeepers to remove from the temple of the Lord all the articles made for Baal and Asherah and all the starry hosts. He burned them outside Jerusalem in the fields of the Kidron Valley and took the ashes of Bethel. He did away with the idolatrous priest appointed by the kings of Judah to burn incense on the high places of the towns of Judah and on those around Jerusalem. Those who burn incense to Baal, to the sun and moon, to the constellations, and to all the starry hosts. He took the Asherah pole from the temple of the Lord to the Kidron Valley outside Jerusalem and burned it there. He ground it to powder and scattered the dust over the graves of the common people. He also tore down the quarters of the male shrine prostitutes that were in the temple of the Lord. The quarters where women did weaving for Asherah. Josiah brought all the priests from the towns of Judah and desecrated the high places from Geba to Beersheba, where the priests had burnt incense. He broke down the gateway at the entrance of the gate of Joshua, the city governor, which was on the left of the city gate. Although the priests of the high places did not serve at the altar of the Lord in Jerusalem, they ate unleavened bread with their fellow priests. He desecrated Tepeth, which was in the valley of Ben Hinnom, so no one could use it to sacrifice their son or daughter in the fire to Molech. He removed from the entrance of the temple of the Lord the horses that the kings of Judah had dedicated to the sun. They were in court near the room of an official named Nathan Melech. Josiah then burned the chariots dedicated to the sun. He pulled down the altars, the kings of Judah, and erected on the roof near the upper room of Ahaz the altars Manasseh had built in the 2 courts of the temple of the Lord. He removed them from there, smashed them to pieces, and threw the rubble into the Kidron Valley. The king also desecrated the high places that were east of Jerusalem on the south of the hill of corruption, the one Solomon king of Israel built for Ashtoreth, the vile goddess of the Sidonians, for Shamash, the vile god of Moab, and for Molech, the detestable god of the people of Ammon. Josiah smashed the sacred stones and cut down the Asherah poles and covered the sites with human bones. Even the altar at Bethel, the high place made by Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who had caused Israel to sin, even that altar and high place he demolished. He burned the high place to the ground, or he burned the high place and ground it to powder and burned the Asherah pole also. Okay, again, I'm sorry that I had to pause there for a while because I realized I forgot that one. And now I'm going to go to Isaiah chapter 6, and I'm going to start at verse 8, and it goes to 13, and it says, Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who shall go for us? And I said, Here I am, send me. He said, Go and tell this people, be ever hearing, but never understanding, be ever seeing, but never perceiving. Make the heart of this people calloused, and make their ears dull, and close their eyes. Otherwise they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn and be healed. Then I said, For how long, Lord? And he answered, Until the city lies ruined and without inhabitant, until the houses are left deserted and the fields ruined and ravaged, until the Lord has sent everyone far away and the land is utterly forsaken. And though a tenth remains in the land, it will again be laid waste. But as the terebinth and oak leave stumps where they were cut down, so the holy seed will be the stump in the land. And that is it for the verses. And in that verse, that's where it talks about the terebinth tree again. So the terebinth tree, from my understanding, and the spirit tree are two different things. In that verse, Isaiah 6:8-13, he's talking about leaving a remnant, and he talks about the terebinth and oak tree. If you look at terebinth tree, I think it is labeled as part of a oak family, and then it talks about leaving seed there. And in the vision I had was my oak tree with the acorns, which acorns are the seed of an oak tree. So that kind of represented in my dream the remnant that's going to be left, the people who truly worship God. And in a lot of those verses, I said the word Asherah pole. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have no idea what that was, so I had to look it up. And all of this, when I talk about the Asherah pole, I got it from Christianity.com. And an Asherah pole is a wooden idol or tree. I guess that goes with spirit tree. Now, Asherah, I had to look up who was Asherah, and that is a pagan Canaanite goddess. And according to that, she kind of hooked up with a false deity named El. And through that, she has said by people who worship her that she birthed over 70 false gods. And some even say that she mothered Baal, and she is worshipped via trees. So that goes off the spirit tree one. And then on in the Jeremiah verses, there is a phrase that they say the queen of heaven. Well, we know there is no queen of heaven, so I had to look up what is queen of heaven. And according to Wikipedia, the queen of heaven is known as Ishtar, and she was like a false goddess of ancient Near East. And she was worshipped by Sumerians, Babylonians, Assyrians. In the verses, obviously, some people some Israelites had falsely worshipped her. And in Wikipedia, it also said some of the other names that she's known as, and Asherah is one of the names that she's possibly known as. So, to sum it up, going off with the things that I heard in my dream about tarot cards and a spirit tree, these verses are talking about how they worship the moon and the sun and the constellations. We're not meant to do that, and that is idol worship. And people who use tarot cards, they are seeking guidance through spirits and things like that. So if you are confused on whether tarot cards are something that is able to be worshipped or used, or if you didn't know that those are not from God and those are evil things, like now you know. I stay away from tarot cards. I'm so distracted because there's a car behind me and it kind of pulled up, and I was like, who's pulling up at my house? But that's the basis of this vision. And I can say, like I always do, is stay in the light. Don't start following down these people who bring out their stones and their crystals and their evil eye necklaces and the tarot cards. And some of these people, they actually think or say that they are working for God, or they're doing those things. Well, God wouldn't ask you to seek guidance from spirits or things like that. So always stay in the light, guys. And I'm sorry for all the pauses of me trying to get it together. But either way, the message is still out there. So I'm sorry that this message is long, but I'm glad that whoever makes it to the end, that you guys watched it. So again, always stay in the light. And I'll probably be back in the next day or so to finish up all the other dreams and things and verses that I haven't talked about. I'm really going to get it together, guys. All right. Thanks. Bye.